Good morning, happy Monday. Welcome to Our Market is Changing and What You Need to Know. All right, last week we talked about inflation and what that really meant. This week I want to start out with understanding that the federal government, is always going to choose recession over inflation. And when they're trying to reduce demand by making things more expensive and slowing down spending, what happens is Gary Keller makes this great analogy. It's like landing a 747 on the back of a needle. It's impossible and they're never gonna get it exactly right. So what does that mean? We've got to stay hyper focused on our local economies and how that is showing up for us. So what that's gonna look like is that a recession, which let's define that is 2 consecutive quarters of the GDP being down, the gross domestic production, meaning what we're creating, right, of that being down. Does that directly impact the housing market? Well, yes and no. The last 3 of 5 recessions, the housing market was up. And why is that? Well, because we're heavily dependent, especially now, on resales because we are so short on new construction and inventory there. So we're not going to be dropping off of a cliff, but we are going to see a lot of that reality set back in, meaning 4 to 6% appreciation instead of 44% appreciation. This is a good thing. Again, sellers, this is not panic and your house is not worth what you paid for it. And buyers, this is not a fire sale. What it is reality. So if the home has been on the market for 10 days, there's not something wrong with it. That's a normal market. That's a good thing. So pricing is key, and we have come back to a beauty contest, and you've got to sell the home twice. Once online to get people in, and then once in person once they're already in the door. So let's talk about stats and what that looks like. All right, over the weekend, we saw 36 expireds and 92 withdrawns. Last week, as this whole 7 days, we saw 85 expireds, 389 withdrawns. So that's an average of 17 expireds per day, with 46 per day on average being withdrawn. That is a huge jump when we were seeing single-digit numbers on a daily basis over the last 2 years. Now, what does it look like with inventory? Definitely loosening up. So over the weekend, we saw 1,102 new homes come on the market in the metro Atlanta area. And last week, we saw over 3,502 new listings come on the market, which is on average 436 per day. So over the weekend, here's a great new stat that we have not seen a lot of: price reductions. We had 483 price reductions, which was up from the week before. And then we saw 1,639 for the whole week, which is an average of 234 price reductions per day. So it goes back to, we are in a pricing and skills-based market because it matters what the home looks like when you put it on the market now. No longer can you put it on any way it looks, put a for sale sign out front, cross your fingers and collect offers. Those days are past us, and so you're going to have to get aggressive in what your pricing and marketing strategies look like moving forward. And we'll talk about some effective things that are working right now later this week. Have a great week.